Say you could just drop below what's something that you would like to do alone, or something that you've maybe thought about doing but are too scared to do.
I don't know. Would we schedule our time to go out to eat?
No.
I don't think so.
This is Sistas Declassified, the podcast where
Taylor
and Taryn,
your virtual sisters, share experiences, insights, and of course the juicy secrets that never leave the sister circle.
So shh, listen up. The Declassified convos are starting now.
Welcome back to Sistas Declassified. We're the real life sisters who decided to start a podcast instead of going on a solo date.
Before we get started, don't forget to subscribe to get your weekly dose of declassified moments.
All right, so I guess today, it's not really a gospel. I guess it is. It's a gospel.
It's a gospel.
So our gospel today is some things hit better solo. Alone doesn't mean lonely. And I like this topic for us because I think we love to do things alone.
Taylor's always talking about being in her bed by herself.
Listen, I've been doing better at that though. You haven't heard me say that in a while, I feel like. No? You have?
Maybe a week ago.
On the podcast?
Okay, maybe not on the podcast, but in real life.
In real life, I mean, yes, during the week. And since I started my new role, I spend a little bit of time in my bed.
Yeah, it was like literally Thursday. I think you mentioned it.
Oh, but that's because Thursday was a holiday.
Point proven, people.
So yes, I had a leisurely morning in my bed. I did, yes.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think that's the alone things that I'm talking about here. Because I think sometimes that's more like rest, recovery, rejuvenation.
Totally.
Right? Versus the alone stuff we're talking about is like getting out on a solo date, doing a little trip by yourself. Maybe you're going to go to the library and read a book alone. Maybe you're going to go to a concert by yourself.
Ooh, that's a tough one. Well, I don't think I could go to a concert by myself, but that's because I don't care for concerts with other people really either. I'm all concerted out.
And I love a good concert. It's a spiritual event.
It's a lot of energy.
It is. It is. And, you know, you have to go there with the right mental preparation.
Absolutely, you do.
And I think you just have to be a really big fan. Because if you can lock into the music, then you can vibe out.
True. And I think I'm just not as a big fan of anybody enough to pay however much money they want me to pay to go to a concert.
Right.
But I think your point still stands.
Mm-hmm.
That we're not just talking about being solo at home in your bed, even though that is joyous.
It is.
We should also feel comfortable, and part of like growing up is being able to go out and go to places and do things solo. You don't always need a companion, and sometimes it can be refreshing to do things by yourself.
And I think I definitely understand, like with women, sometimes things can feel dangerous to do by yourself.
Yeah.
It can feel dangerous to do things on your own, especially going to a concert, for example, because you don't know what kind of people you might come across or who could be watching you and notice that you're by yourself. But it can also be liberating to know that you went by yourself and took care of yourself and you were safe, to kind of challenge that narrative that everything is unsafe. Because, I think you can start to gain confidence in yourself.
Totally. And recognize that while you do want to have your wits about you, the whole world probably isn't out to get you either. And so if that's something you're anxious about, you don't have to start as big as a concert or a solo trip to Costa Rica. If you know, you know. But going to a museum, going to a library, going for a walk around your block, going out for a meal could all be things.
Getting a quick coffee.
Could all be things that like just remind you of how nice your own company can be.
And because you can do things at your own pace and on your own flow. I know she's talking about this Costa Rica trip, or oops, drop the mic. I always do that. I know she's talking about this Costa Rica trip, which could seem like a big step in doing by yourself. But I do think being able to do whatever you want on a trip and don't have to ask anybody, would you want to do that? Does that sound fun to you? Are you ready to go? All those things that you won't have to think about will be really nice.
I am a big fan of not having to ask people when we're ready to go. Because when I be ready to go, I'll be ready to go.
Yeah. I will say, though, going out to eat by yourself is fun, but I do enjoy going with groups when we can order multiple things and share because we all want a lot of things. I don't feel like I can do that when I go by myself because that's too much leftovers. But if you're trying to splurge, you could take the leftovers. I just don't like to be wasteful.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think it depends on your budget. You know,
Yes.
go back to our money episodes. Think about whether or not it fits in your budget, and then be strategic about what you order, and is it things that can last. So, like, I think the last time I went out to eat by myself, I ordered two or three things.
Mm-hmm.
But like, one of the things I ordered was a salad, so I got the dressing on the side, so I could take the salad later and it would still be good, and I would just eat the little bit I needed.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think I got like some fish or something. I don't remember what exactly, but something that I knew I would eat that again later in the day or whatever, and have the salad for the next day.
Right. It's definitely not the end of the world problem.
First world problem.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it's just something to consider when you're deciding, oh, do I want to go alone or with a group? I think in terms of doing grown woman stuff alone, when I think about what that means to me, I feel like that's like going to like a conference or like some sort of like seminar. I don't know. That's the first thing that came to my mind when I think about other things you could do alone. Is like self-growth, of course, because that's where my mind always goes. Like, could you see yourself? I know you go to a work conference.
Yeah, I was like, I've gone to work conferences alone. And that's the very first time that no, not the first time. One of the times that was most salient to me was going to Atlanta for a conference, which felt pretty far to go by myself. Mm-hmm. And at that time, like, no one from work was going. So it's one thing when you know, like, maybe somebody from work will be there at the conference, but, like, nobody I knew was going to be there, having to navigate a new city by myself, knowing the closest person I know to there was, like, 60 miles away, didn't have a car, so it didn't matter that they was close to me anyway. Mm-hmm. It was actually kind of nice, because I had some extra time alone, so I probably ate almost all my meals by myself. Mm-hmm. I went to the museum by myself, which was really nice. And just being on my own timetable. Like, in some ways, I felt like a main character in a movie or something. Right. I know that sounds so silly. But
you're out of your norm.
Yeah, I was out of my norm completely because I was somewhere new I'd never been before. But also just, like, I felt like I was just, like, wandering. And not aimlessly, but a little bit. And I feel like in my day-to-day, I don't necessarily get enough aimless wandering time. And something that's nice about being able to do things on your own is that you can wander aimlessly. Mm-hmm. That sounds so silly, but it's very refreshing.
Like, nobody's checking you, like, what are you doing?
Right.
You're just kind of doing your own thing. You don't have to check in with anybody. And I know that's like people who live alone, they probably feel like they do this all the time. Mm-hmm.
It's a very strong, like, free will moment. I feel like I don't always acknowledge the free will that I have. Mm-hmm. I think I am very routine, like, regimented, and so I don't have a lot of, like, free will time. And when I do, it's usually, like, the same things, like sitting on the couch and watching my reruns. And so when I get to go out by myself in the world and have to deal with, like, the variables of the world, mm-hmm. doing it by yourself is even more like, I have a decision to make. And it's not always a big one, right? It's like, am I going to check out this wing of the museum or that wing of the museum? But it's still very, like, I don't know, freeing.
Mm-hmm. You just form your own thoughts and have your own experience that mm-hmm. nobody else has with you. It can be really nice to do. And you don't realize the peace that you have. I know this is like everybody does this kind of thing, but I always watched YouTube back in the day, and like people would bring their partners to the store with them, or like they would go shop together and whatnot. Mm-hmm. But I've now found, I used to really want Brandon to be at the store with me all the time. Like, let's go to the store. We're going to go to the store. Because I don't know why. I just didn't want to go by myself. All those decisions to make alone. I don't know what he wants to eat, blah, blah, blah. Now, I'm like, you can come, I guess. Because I got into a flow of just being peaceful at the store and picking out the things that I want to buy. And he's going to eat this week. And it was just, there's like a sense of control that I have. That is so different than when he comes to the store and random things plop into my basket that weren't on the budget, you know?
Like, I feel that. I also used to always want to go to the store with Sean, particularly grocery shopping, because in some ways it felt easier, mm-hmm. so I don't have to ask you. But what's even easier is not asking you at all. And taking 45 minutes in the grocery store because I have 45 minutes. Whereas he's like, the 7 things on the list, that's the 7 things we're going to get. Let's get in, get out. And I want to be out of here in 15 minutes. And I'm like, 15 minutes?
Because that's me.
He wants to be out in 15 minutes?
No, me.
Oh.
Me and Vashon are still the same.
Oh, yeah?
Because, yeah, I have my list. You're adding things to my list.
Oh, I'll go up and down every aisle. Like, if I have the time, I'm just like, la, la, la.
See, I'm not going to go down every aisle. If I go down that aisle and I see something that, like, sparks my like, attention, then I'll get it. But I'm not about to intentionally go down every aisle to find new things.
Oh, no, I'm not going down to find new things necessarily. I'm just not in a rush.
See, yeah, I'm usually ready to get out of there. Well, it depends on the store. If it's like Trader Joe's, I might take more time. But regular stores, Nob Hill rallies and all that, I'm out of there. But anyways, that was just a side thought for being able to thrive alone and not feel like you're comparing yourself to what the world thinks you should be doing. Because I think that's what was happening to me back then was like, I should have a boyfriend who wants to go with me to the store. And, like, go, like, do these random hobbies and activities that he never said he wanted to do. But he will go, of course, if I want him to. But why? Like, why did I need him there?
Right.
There was, like, a codependency.
A little security blanket.
Exactly. That I don't need anymore because I can thrive solo in the store. And I realized, like, actually, you're messing up my quick in and out.
So me and Brandon should go shopping together.
Yes.
And you and Bashir should go shopping together is what I'm hearing.
Definitely. And I know that's like a random one, but I think we all do it and experience having to go to the store and like whether you bring your partner or not. And obviously there's days where we have a ball and I can take my sweet time, but if it's like I have a whole bunch of things to do that day, no, I'm not about to leisurely walk around this store, so let's go.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. That makes sense. I don't know. I'm not in a rush.
No, that's good. And I could take a what's the thing? A hat? What's the saying? Out of your book? I could take a page out of your book. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I said a hat.
A hat? I was like, what? I don't know what saying you're talking about.
I could take a page out of your book and take my time. Because that's how things get forgotten. And then if you don't get all the things, that's frustrating too.
Yeah. So I think a big point where we want to hit on here as we talk about being grown and doing things alone is just making sure that we don't confuse isolation and intentional alone time.
Right.
You earlier touched on like we might sound funny to people who live alone because a lot of these things they may already experience or do for themselves anyway. Mm-hmm. And I think what I would challenge you in thinking about is whether or not that is intentional alone time or if you are currently feeling like you're in a state of isolation because maybe you live alone or you don't live near family or friends.
Right. Or even if you do, and they invite you out, and now you've gotten into this.
I go to the store in 15 minutes. I'm not going to the store with you.
Exactly. Or, I mean, this is for the woman who's not maybe doing everything alone. But there are people who thrive in alone time. Mm-hmm. And so if people are seeking you out and trying to connect with you and you're actually like, I have food at the house. You want to go to eat? Sorry, no. I could do this here. Or I have my plan to go to the restaurant right around the corner and take it home. Right? Like there's, you might already be locked into that thriving alone. So you want to assess whether maybe you need a little more community.
Right. And yes. Do an inventory on whether or not you're thriving or if you're isolated. Mm-hmm. You're right. So, again, like she said, this is an episode probably for people who don't live alone or who aren't doing things alone. Maybe enough, quote unquote.
Right, because I do feel like people often will maybe they set out on a new venture. Maybe they want to do I wanted to do a mud run, for example, but I won't do it because I want somebody to do it with me.
Oh, girl, those are something else.
I know, but I know that's something where I could go and thrive alone because I've been saying I want to do that for so long, so just go. Mm-hmm. Versus, somebody living alone might say, I'm going to get all my friends to do that.
Right.
And then hold themselves back. Mm-hmm. And I don't live alone, but I still ain't going. But I would love to, so just some things to think about and chew on.
Mm-hmm. I think the last thing I'll say about just doing grown women alone is not to be worried about having it all figured out in terms of what alone time means. Don't be afraid to experiment at different levels of alone time. So maybe your first alone adventure is going for a walk or going to the library or going grocery shopping. Mm-hmm. But then if you feel like, okay, once I got this level down, I can try going out to eat or doing something that most people would expect you to do with someone else. Because you'd be surprised at how freeing it feels to do some of these things alone. So girl, go do your mud run.
Right.
Alone.
I will.
Well,
I've also been thinking about too, like Eventbrite events that I maybe see, and just go. Like it's okay that you're not gonna know anyone in the place. Just go and see what it's about.
Yeah, and doing it alone doesn't necessarily mean there aren't other people, right?
Exactly.
It could just be people that are new to you or people that you might have to work up the courage to talk to or introduce yourself to, which could be an opportunity to make new friends.
Yeah.
And that could be something you do intentionally alone as well. Because oftentimes if you go somewhere with somebody else, whether it's a small group or a big group, you're usually not talking to other people because you've come with your people.
You stay clicked up.
You stay clicked up, you stay guarded versus you there by yourself. And you want to say something funny. This is true for me. I'm going to get my comment off, and I hope everybody around me heard it so we can laugh together because I'm hilarious.
Well, and that's why, like, the club died. Like, people used to be able to go out alone, and it would be fine. But if everybody's in a section, who you going to meet?
I guess that's true. I thought the club died because of smartphones.
I mean, yes, there's multiple reasons why the club died. But I think before the smartphones, dancing was still already kind of slowing down because people would just dance in their little section.
That's true.
And girls would just sit up cute. You know?
Hey, I'm girls being cute. I feel it. I need to sit down.
Yeah.
I hate the club, but that's a whole nother story.
Right. Anyway, all this is to say, do some grown woman stuff on your own and let us know how it goes. My next step will be maybe to look for an event that I can go to by myself, and I'll let y'all know how it goes before I do my big solo trip.
Yes. I've been wanting to do something small. There are a lot of places in the city that I live in that I haven't gone to yet that I want to go to, that I know my husband does not want to go to. Like even just going to the library. We used to go to the library all the time as kids. That was a place I very much enjoyed. And I want to start doing that again. And I can just go. It's down the street.
I have my library card too.
And I need a library card. Did you hear that Libby is, Lord, back to the castle world? They're not ending, but they may be taking out a lot of the content that they previously did because they're losing federal funding.
Okay.
Sorry. I don't know how many of y'all
Something we
Libby.
do alone is read.
But yeah, so I guess the reason why we wanted to bring this up today is just because doing things solo can allow you to feel a lot of different things, whether it's having time for rest or solitude, but it also just builds your confidence as a grown woman. And we want that for you.
Yeah. We'd love to be confident. But anyways, I think in wrapping us up today, you could just drop below what's something that you would like to do alone or something that you've maybe thought about doing but are too scared to do. So for me, it's a mud run. We'll see if I do that in 2026.
I'm going to find you one to go to. And I'll be in the crowd so I can take pictures of you. But you're going to have to do that by yourself because I didn't like it. Sorry.
But anyways, is there anything you'd like to do? Specifically?
There's nothing specific I would like to do, but I do think I can get out solo more for some of those like level 1 adventures, like going to the library, going to eat, going shopping.
Very soon you won't be going anywhere alone.
Lord have mercy, you're right.
I guess you haven't been going anywhere alone for a little while now.
Lord, that's true.
I'm sorry.
No, but I think
hanging out this whole episode.
First of all, it's not hanging out. It's just peeking. It's peekaboo. But I think that's even more of a reason to find time to do things solo. They got a daddy.
You're right.
They got a daddy.
Moms need solo time too.
That's right. So I think that's the goal, is to not lose solo time completely in this new season of life that's coming.
Yes. So anyways, we want to thank y'all for watching. And we'll see you in the next one.
Bye.
Bye.